Lin Dunn, the famous general manager of the Indiana Fever, has had enough. She is a seasoned veteran of the game who has seen both the highs and lows of professional basketball. But what she's seeing today has pushed her to the edge, leading her to speak out with genuine conviction. What triggered the event? None other than the unrelenting and some say deadly roughness that Caitlin Clark has faced on the court. This isn't just another day in the WNBA. It's a crisis in the making, and Dunn is prepared to act.
Amazing. It's amazing. I cannot believe that many people are here just for the draft party. It's such an exciting moment. We're thrilled to select with the first pick Caitlin Clark.
But what's really going on here? Is this simply another chapter in the WNBA's illustrious history? Or is something more important emerging before our eyes? Let's go into the facts, unpack the difficulties, and find out why Lin Dunn, one of the most respected personalities in women's basketball, is suddenly demanding quick action. Lin Dunn's interest extends beyond basketball to the fundamental fabric of the game. Dunn's perspective is unique as the Indiana Fever's general manager. She's seen the league's evolution throughout the years, including the growth of players, the intensity of rivalries, and the rising fan base. But what she sees today is different, and it troubles her terribly.
You're changing it, you're helping us change it, so seriously, from the bottom of my heart, from all of us, we thank you so much, and I just feel really grateful to be here.
Dunn is especially concerned with Caitlin Clark's supporters' conduct and the more violent techniques employed against her on the court. It's one thing to play rough. Basketball, after all, is a contact sport. But when does toughness become dangerous? That is the question Dunn is asking, and it has sparked a passionate discussion within the WNBA community. Caitlin Clark, with her evident skill and compelling charisma, has emerged as the league's lightning rod. Her supporters are fervent, her opponents are tenacious, and the result is a level of ferocity that is making headlines throughout the sport. Dunn is frustrated not just with the physical play, but also with how the game is developing, or maybe devolving, in reaction to the demands that come with Clark's ascension.
From the logo,
Caitlin Clark's influence in the WNBA cannot be emphasized enough. She's more than simply another player. She's a sensation. Clark is creating waves on the floor, turning heads, and pushing opponents to reconsider their strategy. He averages 16.3 points, 6 assists, and 4.9 rebounds per game. But what's occurring off the field is absolutely astounding. Clark's presence has directly contributed to an increase in WNBA attendance and fan engagement. In Los Angeles, 19,033 people have come to witness her performance. In Washington, the attendance was even higher. 20,333 people packed the arena to see Caitlin Clark perform. These metrics are more than just numbers. They reflect the WNBA's burgeoning popularity, which is propelled in large part by Clark's spectacular performances.
I'm very grateful starting and playing in front of absolutely no one during COVID, and then obviously my sophomore year we had good crowds, the curtains were down a lot of the games, and now...
However, all of this prosperity has brought along a new set of obstacles. As Clark continues to dominate, she becomes a target. The brutality aimed against her is rising, and it's more than simply difficult defense. It's about survival. Opponents are pushing the envelope, testing the limits, and in some instances, crossing the line. That's where the real issue is. The WNBA has always distinguished itself by its physicality. However, there is a distinction between playing hard and dirty, and that line is getting more blurred. Caitlin Clark is at the heart of this argument, since she encounters physical obstacles on the court that some feel exceed what is appropriate in competitive play.
Seattle, and all of a sudden, we're pretty close. This has been as close as it's been all second quarter long, 44.
Remember when Clark was hip-checked by Kennedy Carter, or when she clashed with Angel Reese? These aren't isolated events. They're part of a wider trend that's forming throughout the league. Clark has spoken out about the treatment she is undergoing, stating, "I feel like I'm getting hammered." For a player of her level to raise such worries is significant. It indicates that something has to change. The roughness thrown toward Clark is more than simply strong defense. It's about delivering a message. But what's the message? Is Clark too good, oppressive, or threatening? Or is it something more sinister, referring to larger flaws inside the league? These are the questions posed by fans, players, coaches, and experts alike. Caitlin Clark. As the physicality goes up, so too does the discussion. Where do we distinguish between competitive play and harmful behavior? What constitutes appropriate on-court behavior, and when does it become excessive? These are the problems that are now front of mind in the WNBA, and Lin Dunn is determined to solve them. Caitlin Clark's handling of the court has elicited different reactions. On one side, some supporters are upset, believing that Clark is being unjustly targeted and that the brutality she is experiencing is not simply part of the game, but a purposeful effort to bring her down. These supporters are loud, passionate, and demanding change.
An accidental collision with Caitlin Clark. You see it right there. Personnel crowds around her. She ended up being okay. She said she was fine. She just got the wind knocked out of her a little bit.
On the other hand, others contend that this is just basketball. It's a rigorous sport, and if you want to be the greatest, you must be able to manage the physical demands. For some followers, Clark's situation is merely part of the game, a necessary hurdle that she must face if she wants to compete at the greatest level. But it's not only the fans who are split. The league itself is debating how to react. WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert recognized the problem, saying, "I believe everyone is watching Caitlin, so their emphasis is solely on Caitlin. But when compared to other games with additional players, it is a physical game." Engelbert's remarks underline the bigger context. The WNBA is a rough league, and Caitlin Clark isn't the only one dealing with these issues.
Yeah, I mean, her first month in W, obviously, aside from the numbers, the viewership, the attendance, the way that she plays the game, you know, she's ultra competitive. Her ability to really stretch the floor and find her teammates. Obviously, there is a learning curve. And
however, Engelbert's words pose serious considerations. Is Clark's physicality merely a facet of the game, or is there more to it? Is the league doing enough to safeguard its players, particularly its superstars? What message is being sent to the next generation of players and fans? These are the concerns that are rising to the forefront as the discussion around Caitlin Clark and the physicality of the WNBA heats up. So what precisely does Lin Dunn propose? Dunn's strong words make it plain that she is unwilling to sit back and watch while the game she loves is imperiled. She is asking for quick action, urging the league to intervene and address the problem of physicality before it is too late.
About 20 seconds, maybe 15.
Why that long?
I don't know. They made me pause. You know the league. You gotta follow the directions.
Dunn isn't just speaking out, she's taking action. She allegedly submitted game videos to the league headquarters, underlining the risky play that she feels is endangering players like Caitlin Clark. Dunn's commitment is palpable. She's not just talking the talk, she's living the walk, leading by example for everyone participating in the game. But what fueled Lin Dunn's ardent determination? Why is she so adamant about cleaning up the game, safeguarding the athletes, and maintaining the WNBA's integrity? The answer is rooted in her profound passion for the game, dedication to the league, and conviction that basketball can and should be better. Dunn's call to action applies to the whole league, not just one player or club. She's making a strong message about the significance of safeguarding star players, establishing a high standard for the whole WNBA, and keeping the game fair and safe for everyone on the field.
One of our biggest wins of the season so far was our first win at Phoenix. I think that really kind of boosted us into how we're playing basketball right now.
As the WNBA expands and evolves, physicality will remain a major concern. The league is at a crossroads, and the choices made over the next several months and years will significantly influence its future. If the league can find a way to combine toughness and safety, protecting its players while maintaining the game's purity, it has the potential to reach new heights. The WNBA has the potential to serve as a model for other sports leagues, demonstrating that it is feasible to play intense competitive basketball without jeopardizing player safety.
Left to go. How important was it for this group to come out after the break and get the win?
Yeah, it's huge. I think it sets the tone of where we want to be the rest of the season. So to grind this one out and get it done, I think is just a step in the right direction. But it's one at a time, and we have another big one Sunday.
However, if the league fails to handle the problem, the ramifications might be severe. Players might continue to get injured, the game's quality could deteriorate, and spectators could lose faith. The WNBA risks losing its momentum and its status as one of the most entertaining and dynamic sports leagues in the world. The WNBA's future is in the balance, and choices taken now will define the league for years to come. It is a watershed moment in the league's history, and players, fans, and the media will all be paying careful attention. To summarize, Lin Dunn's call to action is about more than simply Caitlin Clark. It is about the future of the WNBA. The league is at a watershed moment as it deals with the problem of physicality and its influence on the game.
Yeah, I think just when I can get going early, that's when I really settle into the game and feel comfortable. And I think my third quarter wasn't great, but yeah, I think there's times where we would have crumbled, but we just kept battling and fighting, and I thought it was a really good win for us.
Dunn's drive to safeguard the players, maintain the league's integrity, and guarantee that the WNBA stays fair and safe reflects her passion for the sport. She is not just speaking out, she is also acting, setting an example for everyone participating in the game. The fight about Caitlin Clark and the WNBA has not ended, and it will continue to define the league's future. However, one thing is certain, the WNBA is a league worth fighting for, and it can achieve unprecedented heights.
Outside these 12, but know that Caitlin is going to have a bright future with USA Basketball, and I think, the points that she made, she's even more motivated, more hungry, and just knowing that her time is going to come.
As fans, players, and the media continue to weigh in on this topic, the WNBA's future will be molded by the choices made today. It is a watershed event in the league's history, with long-term implications for the game. So where are we going from here? The solution is up to the league, the players, and the fans. It is up to all of us to keep the WNBA a league we can be proud of, one that is tough, competitive, and fair. And with leaders like Lin Dunn at the forefront, there's little question the WNBA is in capable hands.
Caitlin Clark guarding Chelsea Gray. Here's Taurasi. You bet!
The 2024 WNBA All-Star Game was a watershed occasion in Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese's careers, demonstrating their potential while sparking great debate in the basketball world. This was more than just another All-Star Game. It was a spectacle that highlighted the abilities of two of the WNBA's brightest new players, while also raising issues about Cheryl Reeve's actions as head coach of the United States women's national team.
Now a star for the Connecticut Sun. Bonner says, all right, I'll take it. Why not? Here's Wilson.
Caitlin Clark, picked by the Indiana Fever, and Angel Reese, chosen by the Chicago Sky, had outstanding performances. Despite their inexperience, they played key roles in their team's triumph against the United States women's national team. Clark, renowned for her exceptional playmaking abilities, had an impressive amount of assists, while Reese's domination in the paint was shown by her double-double performance. Cheryl Reeve, one of the well-respected Cambridge of Minnesota Lynx, did not ever imagine that her decision to not include Caitlin Clark of the Indiana Fever from the Olympics team would bounce back on her. In fact, just the WNBA All-Star Game proved that C. Clark was perfect for making the team. Well, one of Reeves' bad decisions. The All-Star Game received a lot of attention, not just because of the players' performances, but also because of the star-studded crowd, which featured famous sports and personalities. The full venue generated an electrifying atmosphere, heightening the game's intensity. This high-profile environment heightened the significance of the game's result.
The competition, the entertainment, the action, the stars playing like stars. Agumbawale again! We heard Caitlin just talk.
Clark's omission from the Olympic squad was a contentious decision that had ignited controversy before the All-Star Game. Her great performance against the United States squad reignited the topic. Critics of Cheryl Reeve questioned her judgment and the criteria used for team selection, implying that Clark's exclusion was a big blunder. Angel Reese's performance highlighted the league's fresh talent. Her ability to pull off a double-double in such a high-pressure situation indicated that she was ready to compete at the greatest level. Reese's All-Star performance made a compelling case for further acknowledgement of developing stars in the WNBA.
Play real defense.
All right, fair assessment. Nice pass from Clark. Right to her teammate Boston, who lays it in. Canny at the three, Boston the rebound, getting her first.
Cheryl Reeve's coaching techniques were heavily scrutinized after the All-Star Game. Critics cited her choice to keep Clark off the Olympic roster as proof of potential prejudice and bad judgment. The game's result indicated that Reeve may have overestimated the ability of younger players such as Clark and Reese. The dynamics of the All-Star Game were interesting. Team WNBA had a slender advantage at halftime, and despite a strong start from Team USA, they were unable to recover control in the second half. The final score of 117-109 highlighted the intense character of the game and both teams' outstanding efforts.
What a show here in Phoenix as Team WNBA wins it 117-109 behind an iconic performance from Arike Agumbawale.
Clark's record-breaking assists and Reese's double-double were major accomplishments that showcased their particular abilities. These accomplishments not only advanced their careers, but also demonstrated the significance of merit-based selection in athletics. The uproar over Reeves' judgments highlighted the need for a more open and inclusive selection process.
A gorgeous pass from Caitlin Clark and the options that she'll have.
Yeah, players with great hands who can catch just about anything.
I mean, you see the trap from the USA Women's National Team in the backcourt. Thomas, nice touch pass.
The significance of this game went beyond the individual participants. It spurred larger debates regarding the role of youthful talent in professional sports, as well as the importance of identifying and developing these skills. The performances of Clark and Reese served as a reminder that age and experience are not the primary considerations in team selection.
Team WNBA.
Shermiller going to have to change that substitution pattern.
You know, when Asia Wilson starts hitting threes, 7 seconds left in the quarter. Jones unable to hook it in. Reese the O-board. Reese.
Clark saw the All-Star game as a chance to show herself after her sadness at not making the Olympic squad. Her performance delivered a strong statement about her ability and potential, calling into question the coaching staff's selections for the national team. Clark's humility and team-first attitude were also obvious in her post-game remarks, which emphasized group success above individual accomplishments.
That's why we were so successful. We really moved the ball, whether they were in man, whether they were in zone, whether it was transition. I thought we executed in every single area, but also our defense was really good. Only gave up 68 points, and I thought they scored a lot there in the fourth, so proud of the group.
Fever has got a gem, and their presence has been felt in each game, where they sell out stadiums and tickets. Clark just needs confidence and support from Fever to become a world star.
3-second difference, game and shot clock. Here is Mabry, dumping it in. Cardoso the catch and the finish. Here's Cardoso working Boston.
Not leaving behind her achievements around the All-Stars shows how her performance is always anticipated. Which rookie has sold out the way hers does? She still has a long journey ahead, and no one will be surprised if we have another LeBron in woman form. Reese's performance in the All-Star game cemented her position as a rising star in the WNBA. Her ability to execute under duress and contribute greatly to her team's triumph indicated her willingness to take on new challenges in her professional career. Reese's performance also demonstrated the importance of allowing young players to showcase their abilities on large stages.
Really good team.
Angel, it's been a terrific rookie season. It's been a joy to watch you. Enjoy the rest of today.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
That's Angel Reese, who already has 6 rebounds in her 3 minutes of action as Stewart hits the corner 3.
The conclusion of the All-Star game raised serious issues regarding the future of the United States women's national team. As the Paris Olympics approached, the team's training and selection procedure received more attention. The game acted as a wake-up call to the coaching staff, highlighting the necessity to rethink their strategy and judgments. Following the All-Star game, Cheryl Reeves' legacy and reputation were challenged significantly. The criticism she got was not limited to one game, but to her whole approach to coaching and squad selection. Reeves' ability to adapt and react to these critiques would be critical to her success as a coach. The All-Star game had a broader impact on public perception of women's basketball. It highlighted the WNBA's talent and competitive spirit, drawing attention to both the league and its players. Clark and Reese's performances were especially significant in demonstrating the potential of young stars in the sport.
South Carolina stars at different times, very close as Stewart Euros in for 2, just prepping for Paris. 5 seconds left. Clark sees the zone, fires away, in and out on a bomb. Jones, quick!
For the spectators, the All-Star game was an exciting event. The fierce intensity of the contest, along with the players' amazing performances, made it an unforgettable experience. The game also served as a reminder of the tremendous level of ability and skill existing in women's basketball. The result of the All-Star game has ramifications for the WNBA's future. It emphasized the significance of developing young talent and giving them chances to flourish.
She's probably the best one-on-one player in our league. She's pretty dang good.
Caitlin, do you want to know the all-time All-Star game assist record?
Oh, don't do too much, Ryan. What is it?
So when
okay, it's Sue's. Okay, then I'm breaking it. She's been talking crap all game, so.
Clark and Reese's accomplishments may motivate other young athletes to follow their aspirations and strive for perfection in the sport. The controversy surrounding Cheryl Reeves' coaching selections highlighted the need for more openness and accountability in squad selection procedures. It emphasized the value of fairness and merit when selecting players for national teams and other high-profile competitions. The 2020 2024 WNBA All-Star Game will be remembered not just for Squad WNBA's triumph, but also for the larger discussions it provoked regarding coaching, squad selection, and the identification of emerging talent. It was a watershed moment in the careers of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, highlighting the potential challenges and opportunities for the U.S. women's national team as the basketball community continues to reflect on the implications of the All-Star Game.
And for myself, I mean, I have great teammates. I have a great support system. I got my hometown. I got my family that stands up for me. I don't really get to speak out on things.
The performances of Clark and Reese will remain a key point of discussion. Their success against Team USA has set the stage for future debates about the role of young players in professional sports and the importance of merit-based selection. The 2024 WNBA All-Star Game was a pivotal occasion in women's basketball, highlighting the abilities of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese while raising serious issues about Cheryl Reeves' coaching techniques and actions. The game's conclusion emphasized the potential of youthful talents and the need for a more inclusive and transparent selection procedure in sports. As the basketball world continues to process this event
in a row, I mean, in one season. So when you see a young woman come in like that and do that, I would have to give the nod with her efficiency rating and also the plus.
Clark and Reese's performances will serve as a reminder of the sport's dynamic and developing character. Her outstanding collegiate basketball career highlighted Clark's road to the All-Star Game. She was well known at Iowa for her scoring abilities and on-court leadership.
What a miss. Clark from the logo!
Well, you could see and you could sense that she was starting to feel it again. And right here, the rhythm dribble.
Her move to the WNBA was widely anticipated, and her performance in the All-Star Game cemented her status as one of the league's most promising young players. Reese, too, had a great collegiate career, helping LSU win the national title and winning several honors for her achievements. Her transition to the WNBA was as impressive, and her ability to perform under duress in the All-Star Game confirmed her preparation for professional play. The All-Star Game also highlighted the evolving dynamics in women's basketball, where young players are increasingly making their mark.
In the middle of things, we start a little early, we end a little later. The season's a bit more condensed. Quick turnover for rookies like Clark as she weaves her way inside, caught it in the foul.
The performances of Clark and Reese were a testimony to the rising skill pool in the WNBA and the necessity of providing young women the opportunity to flourish on major occasions. For Cheryl Reeve, the All-Star Game was a watershed moment in her coaching career. As a highly recognized coach who has won several championships, Reeve's actions and ideas are often questioned. The criticism after the All-Star Game indicated a need for introspection and potential changes in her approach to squad selection and game strategy. Reeve's coaching method, which stresses defense and team bonding, has been effective in the past. However, the All-Star Game's result revealed potential areas for growth, notably in identifying and using youthful talent. The game served as a reminder that even the most successful coaches must continuously adapt and evolve. The All-Star Game also has greater significance for the future of the U.S. women's national team. As the Paris Olympics approached, the team's training and selection procedure received more attention. The game's outcome indicated that a more inclusive and merit-based approach may be required to ensure the team's success on the international stage. For women's basketball fans, the All-Star Game was an exciting event that highlighted the WNBA's high level of skill. The match's competitive nature, combined with the players' outstanding performances, made it a memorable event. The event also served as a reminder to support and promote women's athletics. Clark and Reese's efforts were especially motivating to the next generation of basketball players. Their triumph versus Team USA highlighted that young players could compete at the top level while also making substantial contributions to their teams. This might motivate more young players to follow their aspirations and strive for success in the sport. That's all for now. What are your thoughts on this prodigy? Do you always anticipate her next game, I presume? Let's have your thoughts in the comment section, and don't forget to like and subscribe to receive insights on the best in the game of basketball. Thanks for watching.
Caitlin Clark had an amazing year and is nominated for 3 awards.
Serena Williams recently made news at the ESPY Awards for a statement regarding Caitlin Clark, which sparked extensive discussion and controversy.
Caitlin, you are the Larry Bird in that you are an amazing player. You have ties to Indiana, and white people are really crazy about you.
The comment addressed issues of racism, representation, and the larger ramifications for women's sports.
And she tries to stay grounded, and she says she doesn't, what did she say? She doesn't have a social, she doesn't look at her social, and I get it. I don't either.
This article will look at the backdrop of Williams' words, the emotions they elicited, and the possible influence on sports and society.
No matter what other people do, then if people are negative, it's because they can't do what you do, basically. And hopefully she'll continue to do what she's doing.
At the ESPYs, Serena Williams likened Caitlin Clark to Larry Bird, a great white basketball player, stating, "You are Larry Bird and you are an amazing player."
Bird in the corner, double fake, jumper, it's good! Larry Bird hits it with 2 seconds left.
You have links to Indiana, and white folks are passionate about you. While Williams may have meant to congratulate Clark, her statements unwittingly introduced race into the discourse, implying that Clark's fame is based on her color rather than her skill. Williams' views are relevant for many reasons.
And Angel Reese knows a ring is coming.
Larry Bird is a respected figure in basketball history.
Oh, there's Max on the offensive board on the cut to Bird, swings through, little reverse, layup is good.
How did he make that one? I want to tell you, I didn't think he was going to shoot it.
So being compared to him may be seen as a huge praise. However, the parallel gets problematic when it looks to cast Clark as an extraordinary white player rather than just a great player.
Up in time, Clark for the win. She does it time and time again, the 40-piece.
The inference is that her accomplishments and capabilities are perceived via a racial prism, which is not only limiting but also unjust to her skills and efforts. Comparing Caitlin Clark to Larry Bird only on the basis of race is dubious.
Just to ask you directly, when people use your name for racism, misogyny, whatever, what is your response to that specifically?
Yeah, I think it's disappointing.
It indicates that Clark can only be compared to other white athletes, which undervalues her unique abilities and accomplishments. Furthermore, implying that white people are really crazy about you indicates that Clark's fandom is mostly white.
The ball to her, and that's exactly what she did. I mean, she started off hot, stayed hot throughout the entire game, but I think she also took pressure off of her when she was able to find her teammates in transition, get them the ball, and that
disregarding the diversity of her fans. This kind of racial stereotyping is antiquated and dangerous, especially in 2023, when society should be progressing beyond such limiting perspectives. The phrase also speaks to larger cultural concerns, such as how individuals are often classified and condemned based on their race. In sports, this emerges as racial stereotyping, in which players are frequently compared to others of their race rather than being valued as individuals. Such remarks may exacerbate divides and inhibit the appreciation of variety in sports.
I think, everybody in our world, deserves the same amount of respect. The women on our league deserve the same amount of respect. So people should not be using my name to push those agendas. It's disappointing.
Athletes like Clark should be honored for their abilities and accomplishments rather than their race. Serena's words elicited an instant and divided response. At the ESPYs, the crowd remained quiet, suggesting discomfort or astonishment. On social media, sentiments varied from humor to fury. Some fans thought Serena's statement amusing and true, while others were genuinely outraged.
Some of the women in this league were my biggest idols and role models growing up, and so just treating every single woman in this league with the same amount of respect, I think is just a basic human thing that everybody should do. Just be a kind person and treat them, how you would want to be treated, and I think it's, very simple.
Asking why race had to be brought into the discussion, one fan appropriately questioned why bring race into it. Many people agreed that the event should have focused only on Clark's achievements, without any racial criticism.
And then my parents are here tonight over here. My dad was actually my first ever AAU basketball coach, so This is kind of a full circle moment, and I grew up playing a lot of AAU sports, whether it was softball, basketball.
The range of responses demonstrates the difficulty of addressing race in public spaces. On the one hand, some individuals value honesty and find it refreshing to hear high-profile athletes talk candidly about race. On the other side, many people think that such remarks might distract from the athlete's accomplishments and divert attention away from their skills. The various replies reflect that society is still wrestling with how to approach race conversations, particularly in high-stakes settings such as big award events. Interestingly, Caitlin Clark has kept mute on the matter. She has made no public declarations or shared any responses on social media.
Caitlin Clark has done so much not only for women's college basketball, obviously what she's doing in the WNBA.
This quiet reveals much about her character and concentration. During her acceptance speech at the ESPYs, Clark merely expressed gratitude. "I just wanted to say thank you for this acknowledgement. It was a memorable year for women's athletics."
Hey everyone, it's Caitlin Clark. I just wanted to say thank you for this recognition. Obviously, I could not be there tonight. I'm a little bit busy in Indianapolis. Special for all of us, and it was a special year in women's athletics. So thank you, ESPN. I just want to give a shout out to all the nominees and award winners tonight. I'm sad I couldn't be there, but I hope you all have an amazing night.
Her reaction was elegant and free of controversy, emphasizing her commitment to her sport rather than engaging in unneeded drama. Clark's decision to remain quiet might be taken in several ways. It might be a calculated strategy to avoid additional controversy while focusing on her game. It might also represent her desire to let her performance speak for itself rather than engage in a dispute that may detract from her accomplishments. Clark exemplifies professionalism and attention by keeping her cool and avoiding provocative statements.
Let's hear it for your Iowa women's basketball team. Our unanimous player of the year is going to take the mic. Take it away, Caitlin Clark.
Woo! Let's go!
Promoting the notion that athletes should be recognized for their abilities and devotion. Serena's statement ignited a bigger debate regarding racism in women's sports. Some contend that comparing Clark to Larry Bird is just another example of racial stereotyping, which persists throughout sports. One admirer said some white people prefer Serena Williams and some black people like Caitlin Clark.
The criticism is often very one-sided. Caitlin Clark talks her shit. Caitlin Clark is demonstrative. Caitlin Clark, people aren't bothered by that. People aren't bothered by it because they're caught up in the narrative of, oh, here's this, wonderful.
Generalization is provocative. This argument emphasizes the continuing challenges of racism and representation in athletics, demonstrating that these discussions are far from ending. The topic expands beyond Serena and Clark. It addresses the broader problem of how athletes of various races are regarded and handled. Historically, black athletes have faced different standards and expectations than their white counterparts.
This morning, this physical moment involving the WNBA's most high-profile rookie raising questions.
Unnecessary.
Chicago's Kennedy Carter shoulder-checking the Fever's Caitlin Clark, knocking her to the ground.
This has resulted in a lengthy history of racial bigotry and uneven treatment in athletics. Serena's words, whether deliberate or not, have pushed these concerns back to the forefront.
I think at the end of the day, I'm a competitor. Now that it's another day, I've had an off day, now I can answer your questions and I can let you know how I really feel about things. But I'm a competitor and I'm going to compete no matter who you are. And
reminding us that much more work has to be done to achieve genuine equality in sports.
It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. And understanding, negative things have probably been said about me, but honestly, I'll take that because look where women's basketball is.
Despite the uproar, Caitlin Clark's popularity continues to rise. Her outstanding abilities and accomplishments have resulted in record viewership for the WNBA and venues packed with fans of all ethnicities. Clark's appeal transcends color.
I do think that there is a thing called pretty privilege. There is a thing called white privilege. There is a thing called tall privilege. And we have to acknowledge that. And so the part of it is about race.
Demonstrating that skill and determination are universal qualities that captivate a varied audience.
That she is more relatable to more people because she's white, because she's attractive. And unfortunately, there still is that stigma against the LGBTQ plus communities.
Clark's ability to keep her concentration and execute at a high level under criticism is admirable.
70% of the WNBA is black. A third of the players are in the LGBTQ plus community.
It illustrates her perseverance and resolve to achieve despite external distraction.
And we have to do something about that stigma in this country. I think that people have a problem with basketball playing women that are lesbian.
Her rising popularity also reflects a change in how fans see sports. Skill and effort are more valued despite ethnic or other superficial distinctions. This is a good omen for the future of sports since it indicates that supporters are growing more inclusive and open-minded. Serena Williams is under widespread criticism for her statements. Critics contend that introducing race into a time intended to honor Clark's accomplishments was needless and divisive.
But to my teammates and coaches that I had at the University of Iowa, it's special for all of us, and it was a special year in women's athletics. So thank you, ESPN.
This scandal has caused some to doubt Serena's legacy. Williams, a pioneer who has inspired many people and broken innumerable boundaries, is now in danger of ruining her reputation with a statement that many people believe is improper. Williams' legacy is multifaceted.
About Serena doing well in her first round against Christiane was the serve started flowing, started firing.
She has been a strong champion for gender and racial equality in athletics, utilizing her position to raise awareness and fight for change.
Like businesses and companies and Serena Ventures and Win Beauty and all the stuff that I'm doing and Serena in the Arena, and like it's just like it's so much. So.
However, her latest remark has ignited a discussion about whether high-profile athletes should be more cautious with their comments. The outcry against Serena indicates that fans want their celebrities to maintain certain standards and avoid words that may be seen as divisive. This episode serves as a warning that even well-intentioned words may have unexpected repercussions, and that public figures must be aware of their influence. The topic of racism in female athletics is not new. There has always been an unspoken conflict about how athletes of various races are regarded and handled. This tension may be observed in many sports, including tennis, basketball, and track and field. The WNBA and other sports organizations have taken steps to address these concerns via diversity and inclusion initiatives. Still, incidents like Serena's statement demonstrate that more work needs to be done. Historically, black athletes have struggled to acquire fame and respect in predominantly white sports. This has resulted in a history of racial intolerance and discrimination that continues to impact athletes today. The WNBA's attempts to promote diversity and inclusion are positive milestones, but they are insufficient on their own. To develop a genuinely inclusive atmosphere, all stakeholders must work together, including players, spectators, and media. Serena's statement has unintentionally sparked a bigger discussion about how race is viewed in sports. Stephen A. Smith said, "Race is always the component that we can ignore, but it doesn't always have to be negative." This viewpoint emphasizes the need to acknowledge race without allowing it to dominate or adversely influence the narrative. The idea is to honor athletes for their accomplishments, while also encouraging a more inclusive and polite conversation on race. The objective is to strike a balance between acknowledging the importance of race and ensuring that it does not overwhelm the athlete's accomplishments. This necessitates a balanced strategy that respects each athlete's uniqueness, while also considering the larger societal environment in which they function. It is important to have open and honest talks on race, but they must be presented in a manner that fosters understanding and inclusiveness rather than division. The WNBA has taken strong steps to promote diversity and inclusion. They have developed policies and activities to provide a friendly atmosphere for all players and supporters. These initiatives are critical to influencing the way race and representation are seen in sports. However, altering attitudes and views is a lengthy process that takes continuous work and dedication from all parties involved. The WNBA's activities include programs to help young players from varied backgrounds, attempts to expand representation in leadership roles, and awareness campaigns on the value of diversity and inclusion. These approaches are critical for developing a more inclusive sports culture. However, it is essential to acknowledge that true transformation requires more than simply rules and initiatives. It requires a change in attitudes and actions, which can only be accomplished by consistent effort and participation. Serena Williams' statement has prompted a critical discussion about racism, representation, and diversity in sports. While it may have created pain and controversy, it also provides a chance for development and learning. The sports community and society at large must participate in meaningful discourse about these concerns in order to create a more inclusive and respectful environment for everyone. The route ahead requires a commitment to continual education and awareness. This entails listening to underrepresented populations' views, understanding the obstacles they encounter, and collaborating to build a more inclusive atmosphere.